Hello, jammers and audience out there. We have had a long day. A lot of interesting things happen, and we're gonna move to our final workshop by Leo Krechmer. He's gonna talk to us about sound design and video editing. As yeah, that's his profession. Yeah, at the time that the jam is coming to an end, I think everyone's gonna taking care about adding that bit of sound and audio and music to the game to yeah spice it up. So yeah, why don't we learn from Leo? And yeah, I'll be moving the screen to Leo now. So you have the ground. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey everyone, my name is Leo. I do sound and music for living, and I want to tell you about a few things about making sound effects, making music for game jams. It's a bit different from kind of my profession, but still, it's quite fun and it's quite underestimated by everyone else. But still, it's very, very important thing. Also, we will be talking about your future trailer videos or gameplay videos or any other type of videos. But it's mandatory for this game jam and for many other game jams that you should upload some video for it. And it's important thing because uh, in quite quite often, actually, this video you will provide it would be the only thing people will see about your game. Because if you, for example, don't have your game playable from the browser, or it's kind of difficult to install, for example, if you're making a game only for one platform, let's say only for Windows-based computer, only for Android device or whatever, so it's kind of complicated for other people to play the game if they have another system on their computer or another system of mobile device. So most likely this video will be the only thing the people can check again. So it's quite important to do it, and all our team just I want to say again that you really should think about the video, like not during the time of uploading, but just way before, just way before. And I will try to help you out a bit. How how do you do it in general, and maybe some useful details about it. So first of all, I would say what software I'm going to use. So it can be short things. Yeah, sorry. And so all these three titles, you can download them for free, and that's great thing about it. That nowadays you can have a lot of software that you can download for free, you can even use for free, and it's amazing. It's amazing that how many possibilities now we have. So we're going to use OBS Studio. This software is created for capturing and streaming, but great thing that it can not only stream, but you also can record what you have on your screen on the computer. So this Focus Reaper, it's a digital audio workstation. It's not free at all, but you can download it for free. You can use it for 1 month, and you can use it further if you want to. So they don't push you to buy it. But of course, if you like it, if you use it frequently, I encourage you to buy it, of course. And it is DaVinci Resolve. It's an amazing video editor, amazing software, and it's completely free. There is paid version of it. Yes, there are a lot of shiny stuff there, like what you don't have in free version. But actually, the main limitation of this paid version is that you can't put your preview screen on another screen, and you can't use your graphic card during the rendering. So if you're kind of not short of time and you have a quite big monitor, it will not affect your work at all if you use the free version. So it's great software. I also encourage you to check it if you do some videos or you want to do some videos. It's great software to start with, and it's really professional thing. It's not like some cottage version. It's great piece of software. Just highly recommend it. And of course, if you like it and you want to go further, of course you could buy. And the same with OBS to do. It's completely free, but still, if you like it and you want to help developers, I encourage you to sign up to the Patreon page and support them. Okay, so if you really want to do some video from our game, first of all, we should capture this game somehow. So let's do it. Sorry, we have got some technical issues, so we will see the screen. Well, so we have this is OBS Studio. It's you have seen how fast it was open, and it's quite easy to use it. So you can just put your video device if it is video capture or it is display capture. So we can record the whole display or videos or exactly different unit. For example, let's open something. Let's say fine. And you can just put video capture. You can name it, not to forget. And you can show exactly which window you want to choose. So for example, this one. So for example, if it was our Unity window or whatever, so we can just capture video from there. You can adjust scale, you can crop it if you want, and there is just record button. It's quite easy. Of course, there are some details and blah blah blah, but still, if you just don't want to go deeper there, it's quite easy. You just open it, you just put your window there, just put your window there, and you just push record, and that's it. And then you have recorded video from your game. Of course, you can always check YouTube for some tutorials, for some lessons, but in general, it works quite easy and it works like that. So moving on. So we have some video, and after that we want to edit it for our trailer or play video or whatever. So what's the difference? Again, just gameplay video, yeah, so you just capture it, then you cut the desired part of it. For example, for this game jam, we encourage you to make your videos not very long. It would be nice if you would have them like 1 minute long, because it would be just easier for everyone to see it, to watch it, and check what you have there. So you can just put some highlights of your gameplay there, or you can do like trailer. Anyways, we need to have 11 choose. Hey, here we go. Let's start from empty project. You can name it like trailer and push create. That's it. So what we have here, if you are not used to any video edit programs, so you will understand quite fast. If you are not familiar with that, so I will just shortly explain you what we have here. We have main tabs. It's media, so you can check your exact media file, whatever it is, video, audio, or whatever. You have cut screen, where you just have all your tracks one by one, and it's easy to cut them and rearrange them, blah, blah, blah. You have edit screen, It's almost the same as cut screen, but you have more possibility there. You can apply effects there, and it's just much more easier to use for me if you are not just cutting your videos or audios. There's Fusion Screen. It's for effects, like for video effects. You have color, to color grade your picture, to apply LUTs, to change colors, and you have deliver. Fairlight is like built-in digital audio workstation, but as for me, it's not very convenient. But if you want to stuck with one program, yes, of course you can do it from here. And deliver, it's just rendering videos. So you can choose quality, you can choose parameters of the video, and just push the export. So from where we can start? We can start from adding our media files to our project. So I have some assets from our game from previous PrideJam, and we'll. So let's start with putting the video of our gameplay. First thing we see, the program asked us if we want to change frame rate. So let's talk about frame rate. What is it? Frame rate is the frequency of frames you have every second. Regular, like movie, frame rate is 24 frames per second. But as we did capture this video from our screen, and we had 60 hertz screen, so we had 60 frames per second video now. And the program asks us if you want to change it. Yes, we can change it. What's important about frame rate? Measure of video is frames. So thing is we have exact frames. Like every second we have 60 frames now. What does it mean? It means that if we want to move our video for that amount of time, we can do it only by exact amount of frames. We can't move it like for half a frame or quarter frame or whatever. So if we want to move video to the audio, well, sometimes you will face some problems. So it's better to move audio to the video because audio has much more division. It's like usually it is 44,100,000 of samples every second. So you have much more possibilities to move it. So we have this gameplay video, and actually we can render it as is. It was a kind of simulator of some famous portal. It was OnlyFans, but we had every fan. So it was a mobile game, and so we just did this video, and for such kind of game, let's say it wasn't too exciting just to have this gameplay video. Yes, we can clearly see what's going on there. Yeah, there was some story at the beginning, then we can choose our characters' details, and then we see some gameplay, blah blah blah. But it wasn't so exciting at all. So what we decided to do, we recorded some voice to have some kind of proper intro. Yes, and then we can use other assets we had. We had some music. Yes, we had some, I don't know, some graphic assets. We can put them also there. And music. Sorry. Yes. Yes. So we have everything here. This is our media window, yes, and now we can just drop files there. So what we can do, okay, what we can do, how can we make our video better? So we can put some music there, we can record some speech, for example. Here, yes. So, so now we understand more clear what the game is about, and it's not so boring, but still, maybe we can put some music there, like, yeah, sorry. Cool. Now we have something. And also the video, yeah, we can cut it. It's quite easy. You can see the panel just above this window. There is razor icon, and you can just cut it wherever you want. You can then switch to the pointer. You can delete any part, move any part wherever you want. It's quite easy. If you don't want them snap, there is magnet icon. So now it's snapping to the edges of each other. If you don't want it, you can unpin it, and now you can move it wherever you want. Cool. Let's say we want some element from our graphic asset. So we can put it here, for example. Yeah, it's still quite boring. Yeah, but we can edit it a bit. So it's just a still picture, but we don't most likely don't want a still picture in our video. So we can animate it a bit. There is inspector icon in the right upper corner. And we can transform. Actually, you can do it with video files, of course, but still, and you can do it with still images. So, for example, it's kind of a cheat. Even if your game is not really ready, you can kind of make it look ready, or you can kind of show some things that you didn't have time to implement. So, for example, we can zoom it. Then we should pin this zoom setting to this frame. So you should push this point. And then we can go to the last frame, push it again, and change the zoom, for example. And now we have this animation. Also, you can use the same window for moving objects, like position. You can do it like that. And then once again go to the last screen. So we just didn't use only our gameplay video, but we used some assets that we had from our artist and composer, let's say. What else? It's kind of important to have there. transitions between frames if you want to. It's also quite easy there. So we can put another video, and let's say we don't want them transit like that. We want them transit smoothly. Yes, there is FX library here near the media tool button. So we just push it, and there are video transitions, there are audio transitions if you want fade in, fade out for your audio also. So there are video transitions. Good, great thing about that it provides you kind of built-in demo of what you will have if you will put it to your timeline. So you can see clearly what we will have. Or for example, this one. Here we will see that one picture becomes blurry. That. Or it goes to black, and then another picture appears. So we can choose, and then you can just drag and drop it to the place you want it to be. And that's it. Cool. So after you got your timeline ready, you just go there, deliver, choose most likely automatically YouTube settings, and that's it. Render it. So it's really briefly, but as you have seen, it is what it is. I mean, you just open the software, you just follow these kind of steps, and you have your video. And I would recommend to do these videos quite to try to make them be interesting, not just really only gameplay. So try to entertain your watchers. And we have something there. No. Good. And I would say shortly about audio, because I have some time for that. How do we do sounds in audio for game jams? Well, as for me, the easiest way to do it is to have visuals first. Because, for example, if you decide to make some, I don't know, hyper casual point and click or hyper casual, let's say either here with some simple graphics and let's say in cartoon style. Well, if you have kind of such description, most likely you will know what sounds you will have, what music you will have, at least mm, at least in general, some kind of style of it. But if you don't know about the game anything, well, then it's kind of complicated to start composing, to start producing sounds because they cannot fit the game, and you will realize it quite late, and it's not a good thing. So I would wait for some clear visuals to see how at least how characters would look like, how the backgrounds would look like, because all sound, all music should fit your game. Actually, the sound is quite important part of the game. Yes, it's underestimated for some reason, especially on game jams, because there is always no time for sounds, no time for to implement sounds, and on most of game jams, to be honest, it's kind of challenging to show your game with sound, because it's quite frequently that even even during the show time they cut sound because you should talk, so they cut sound and that's it. But still, it's very important part of game thing, and I want to show you one video. It's actually from Simulator trailer. I'm pretty sure that everyone knows about this game, but if you don't, well, it's farming simulator. It's simulator of the farm. So you buy some fields, you grow some vegetables, grow some animals. I don't know, buy new combines, new farming gear, and developing that. And it's kind of relaxing, funny, just smooth game, just funny, funny slow game. But for example, we can change the soundtrack for it, and it will change dramatically.
Um, you have to do.
Yeah, so here we go. We had a soundtrack from Doom game, but of course it fits there. But the atmosphere of the game changed completely, and that's what you can do with sounds. That's what you can do with music. So the best thing for me, if programmer or whoever has the code, just exporting you some part of gameplay video. So you can see how does it look like, how objects interact between each other. So, for example, this is a video from some, I believe it was global game jam. So how I start work. For example, I kind of see graphics, yeah, and I start making sounds, I start making music, but I should be sure that it will fit there. So what can I do? Here is gameplay. There is this knight. Um, his name is Draw a Lot. He draws a lot. Here you just jumping from platform to platform, but the thing is he can draw new platforms, and that's his power. Uh, so I want to be sure that my sounds will fit the video, and I want to show this thing to the other members of the team. So what should I do? I'm using Reaper software, but you can use any other audio software. I believe Audacity is pretty much common, but you can use any. So let's say I have this scratch sound for this jumping, when, sorry, jumping, but drawing is what yes, yes. So I'm looking for all instances of the hero drawing these platforms. Yeah, yep. I put a mark there. I put another mark there. I put another mark there. Then I just copy my sound and I just put it to all these events. And now we have it here. So we're kind of making a demo of this sound. And I'm gonna do this with every other sound. Let's say the jump sound. Yes. And for example, the sound of killing skeleton. Yes. So what's next? Next we're gonna put music there. Why we're gonna put music there? Just to be sure that the levels of sounds are quite okay for this thing. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, they couldn't hear the music of the video,
Yeah,
but I don't know. But I can hear it here, so I don't know why.
They don't hear me talking also.
No, they did hear you talking. They can't hear your computer audio for some reason, even if I hear it in the monitor.
Did you hear the music from the video?
No, they didn't. But I can hear it here. So why is it?
Can you check if we have audio from video right now? Do we?
Yeah, I can hear it, but the
then
problem
they
is,
should.
yeah, that's what I thought too. But the streaming things, yeah, it's difficult if you
Hold
can't
on,
hear.
let's wait. It's video now.
Watching that video, that's all.
Video,
True, it's a different point.
but they should.
Yeah, I agree. I can see it here. I can see it coming here.
Maybe it's just muted, this channel. No?
Try again. Play the video again.
Mm-hmm.
Try again. You know what?
So now you hear the sounds, and actually maybe it's for better that first time you watch this video without sound. So you kind of you were thinking about different things before that. So yeah, so that was the point actually. So let's go back to these sounds, and can you hear these effects? Do you? You sure? Cool. Cool. So we return to this thing. So we're demoing this sound. Then we should put music on. Why do we put music? Because we don't know how the sound would be implemented. So, of course, in warm tube world, you would implement sounds yourself with F mode, with W voice or whatever. But during the game jam, most likely it's not quite possible because it's really complicated to sync work of all teams at the same moment. So most likely programmer would ask you to send him all your assets, all your sounds, all your music properly named, and it would be pretty good if you would also adjust volumes already in your DAW, so they will just put your sounds there and they will be in places. So we're putting music on. What we see now, we see that first of all we don't hear jumps, and next we hear the skeleton is dying, but it's not loud enough. So we can adjust this volume. We can adjust volume of jumps, whatever. Yes, now we hear it. So now we have proper volumes between sounds and music, and then we can export, and we have pretty much ready assets to be used in the game. The problem is sometimes it's not exact volumes, because when you implement sounds, it depends how the programmer do it. So for example, it can be attached to the sounds, can be attached to the objects, can be attached to the events, and sometimes they sound differently. But still, a good thing is to know what they can do in their programming engine and what you should do on your side. For example, if you have, let's say, a sound of footstep, of course, in perfect world, you would do like 50, 60, or I don't know how many completely different sounds of footsteps to have this randomization. But actually, you can do it from the Unity or whatever. You can put some kind of random pitch there. And so you can have only one footstep sound, and you can just ask program to put some randomization to it, and it will work perfectly. Of course, you can apply some effects like reverbs, also in engine. But once again, as much as you can do on your side during the game jam is the better. For many reasons, just not to be said after the game is released that it doesn't sound like you want it to. So yeah, after you have this demo of your game with sounds, then you export video from here to your team, and they will tell you if they like it, if they not, and so you can have clear feedback. And after that, you can just export your sounds, and that's it. You're ready to go. So that's very shortly how I do sounds for games during the game jams. If you have, by any chance, any question, like anything, I'd be really happy to answer, but that's it from me for now.
Let's wait for it.
Yeah, I know. Well, as it is quiet there. Okay. Yes, any beginner-friendly resources. Uh, to be honest, I don't know any. I did everything myself. I can recommend you to just study a bit sound. I mean, sound in general, how sound works, how things produce sounds, what is sound. I mean, all about how sounds actually exist, about reflections and other stuff. So first thing, you should learn how to record it. So you should know how the sources of the sound. And for example, for in game jam things, of course you can use, I don't know, your iPhone to record sounds, or some Zoom recorders. They are really popular, or whatever. But once again, during the game jam, you should ask yourself two questions. If you are really familiar with that, I mean, for example, I know that I can record pretty much everything, but for example, if I need to have some, I don't know, gunshot or some explosion sound or whatever, most likely I wouldn't do, I wouldn't construct them from scratch. I have some pre-recorded material, I have some samples, so I can combine them rather than I will construct new sound from it. Or, for example, if I need footsteps, of course I can do it easily, like, or whatever, and it would be easy to record, easy to edit, and blah, blah, blah. And next thing you should ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it really worth it to construct new sound, to record new sound for this thing? I mean, if it is some unnoticeable sound that no one will really appreciate, you did a great job about it. Why? It's sad, but still, why? But if it is like, I don't know, main characters like some scream or shout or whatever, yeah, then maybe it's worth it to record new one, to do it yourself, or to ask some of team members to record some audio, because it would be noticeable if that you have great new sound. Or, for example, you have some cartoon-like game and there are some animals. It's always fun to voice over these animals, like mooing or woofing or whatever. It's just fun. And we're here to have some fun. So that's what we're gonna do. Uh, yeah, but sound design in general is, well, two things quite important there. So you should learn synthesis of sound. So you should learn how to use synthesizers, because a lot of sounds are produced not from Foley recordings, but from synthesizer. So you can synthesize almost any sound with synthesizer, like any. For example, if you need, let's say, sound of waves, or let's say sound of wind, it's much easier to synthesize it rather than to record it, because you can't record it like clearly, because if you're gonna go outside, even during the night, for example, you want to record some birds, yeah, during the night, you think it's kind of quiet time of the day. Well, if you live in some, I don't know, in some forest, in some village, maybe it is. But if you live in the city produce a lot of noise. And if you, even the birds are quite loud, when you will record it, you will have a lot of background noise, and it would be almost impossible to clear it up. So it's much easier to synthesize birds, or synthesize wind, or whatever. But if you have some close sounds, like, I don't know, footsteps, knocks, some sounds of metal, sounds of wood, whatever, some, I don't know, sword clashing, yeah, of course it's always fun to record and combine different sounds to have it. For example, I started my first sound I produced like that, it was a sound of the fire. I can show it from here. Can I? Can you turn off the screen for a second?
Yeah.
Hold on. Maybe it is not sounding realistic now, but I was quite happy with it. Here we go. Yes, we are on. What is a plastic from a cigarette box, cigarette pack? It is this salty snack. And then I just blow into the microphone. And when you combine all these sounds together, we have a fireplace. So you can just think of it, how you combine sounds, how sounds sound like. I mean, for example, if you hear something, you can kind of deconstruct the sound. You can see that there are some high frequency things, low frequency things, and you understand that you can combine, you can record one thing, you can record another thing, and then when you combine, you will have sound of the third thing. So just try to analyze what you hear. That's the most helpful thing. But in general, yes, you should learn how to record sounds and how you synthesize sounds. And there are, of course, a lot of tutorials on YouTube about that. But if you have some particular questions, you can always bump me, for example, and ask if I can help. And if I know how to, I will be glad to do that. Thank you so much. I think that's it.
All right. Thank you, Leo, very much for the workshop. I think that was really interesting, and I really love the little tip at the end where it's just like blowing in the mic and making some crinkling sounds. That's excellent as a life hack. And that's all of our streams for today. So thank you to anyone who's stuck around for the whole day of streaming. There's a weird sound. At 7 o'clock today, we will have the midpoint presentations. And this is going to be happening on Discord purely for our jammers. So in order to take part of the midpoint presentations, please choose someone in your team who's comfortable with speaking on the main stage to post a screenshot or GIF of your game in #screenshots channel. And then you can join the main stage. And we'll go very similarly to as the brainstorming session. We'll go through the screenshots in the channel, and then your team will have a moment to talk about how your game is proceeding, what's been fun, what's been hard, how it's going, basically. If you have the chance to actually show your game as well, if you want to go live during that, we can see if we're a good enough sized group, small enough to make that happen. But yeah, that's the end of the stream for today. So for our jammers, we'll of course continue the discussion on Discord. For everyone else, this has been wonderful, and huge thank you to all our speakers throughout the day. And yeah, anyone from the joining us on stream, we have, of course, still one big streamed event coming up, which is tomorrow. We will have our closing ceremony. We might also have some jammer interviews. We'll see about that during the midpoint presentation discussion as well. Yeah, thank you very much and have a good night.